Just once, I saw a real shooting star. It was not during a vacation, it was from the window of my house. For people living in towns with crisp air and actual dark nights, shooting stars are not uncommon, but unfortunately, Kawagoe City of Saitama Prefecture, where I have lived all 14 years of my life, has neither of those qualities. On a clear night, even a second magnitude star can barely be seen with the naked eye, but, late one midwinter night, when I happened to glance outside my window on a whim, I saw it, on that deep night without many stars. The city lights formed a whitish canopy covering the sky, and in an instant, it was cut by a quick flash of light. My soon-to-be fifth-grade self childishly thought, I must make some kind of wish. Up to that point, was fine, but the wish which appeared in my mind was, I wish my next monster drop is going to be a rare item. It was the kind of wish no sensible person would make. I suppose it sprang from the fact I was playing an MMORPG I liked at the time, the shooting star I glimpsed. That day, I saw it once again 3, or was it 4, years later, glowing, the same color, moving at the same speed. However, this time, I did not see it with the naked eye, nor was I, beneath the dark gray night sky. I saw it through a Nerve-Gear, the world's first full sensory type VR interface, at the bottom of a gloomy, virtual dungeon. One could describe the fight as blood-curdling. The level 6 humanoid monster, Ruin Kobold Trooper, was swinging an uncouth hand axe, and the person fighting the kobold was barely able to dodge. I felt a chill run down my back as I watched the battle. But after the player dodged 3 consecutive strikes, their kobold completely lost its balance and, instead of using this chance to escape, the person used a sword attack skill at full strength. The skill was the first rapier skill players learn, the single thrust attack linear. This sword skill is activated by holding a sword in front of the body with the main hand, concentrating on it, and then thrusting the sword straight forward. It was a simple, basic skill, but the speed was terrific. Clearly, the speed was not left to the system motion assist alone, but it was boosted by the player's own movement commands. During the beta test, I saw with my own eyes many party members and enemy monsters using this same sword skill many times, but I could not see the rapier itself now, only the trajectory drawn by the sword skill's special light effect. That pure white flash cutting through the darkness of the low-light dungeon reminded me of their shooting star of the day. The rapier user continued dodging the kobold's 3-strike combo and then counter-attacking with linear. After using this attack and defense pattern 3 more times, the player finished off one of this dungeon's stronger monsters, an armed beastman, without being wounded. Even then, it did not seem to have been an easy battle. After the killing sword skill passed through the center of its chest, their monster collapsed backwards and dispersed into particles. The rapier user wavered as if being pushed by the unsubstantial polygon shards, and leaned back onto the corridor wall, slowly slid down against the wall to sit, and started breathing hard. The person did not seem to notice me standing about 15 meters away at the corner of an intersection. Moving far away without saying anything and finding my own prey was my normal way of doing things. 1 month ago, on that eventful day, I decided to selfishly live as a solo player, and after that day, I never approached anyone alone. The only exception was if I saw a player in battle who was clearly in danger. However, the rapier user's HP gauge was still near full. At the very least, The person did not seem to need the help of some busybody. Even so, after about 5 seconds of deliberation, I left the shadow of their intersection and walked toward the still-sitting rapier user. Skinny shape, somewhat slender, the torso was equipped with a dark red leather tunic with a lightweight copper breastplate, while the lower body was dressed in neat leather pants, with boots up to the knees. A hooded cape cloaked the body from head to near waist, so the face could not be seen, other than the cape. The equipment seemed to be that of a fencer, very similar to my equipment as a swordsman. My beloved sword Neil Blade, a reward from a difficult quest, is very heavy, so, to utilize the sharpness of my skills, I wear very little metal armor, only a small chest guard with a dark gray leather coat over it. Hearing my approaching footsteps, the rapier user's shoulder suddenly shook, but did not move beyond that I was not a monster should be shown as a green-colored cursor in that person's view, with his face buried deep behind raised knees, showing a just pass by like that and go somewhere else. Feeling very strongly, I stopped about 2 meters from the rapier user and opened my mouth. That was an extreme overkill. The small shoulder covered by the thick cloth of the cap moved slightly again. The hood jerked, moved up just about 5 centimeters. From there, darkness inside. 2 pupils sharply shot at me. The only thing I could determine was the light brown iris. The shape of the face could not be seen at all. The rapier user continued to look with that sharp sight used in the earlier battle for a few seconds, then tilted the head slightly to their right. "And I don't understand what you mean" kind of gesture. Seeing that, I thought so it was like that. For what looked like solo play to me, one thing was a huge incongruity. The linear released by the rapier user was so perfect that I couldn't help but shiver. The pre-motion and post-motion was short, and above all was the speed that did not allow it to be seen. I have never seen such a fearsome and beautiful sword skill before, so at the start, I was thinking that he must be a similar beta tester. Before this world became a death game, long battle experience must have been gained for this speed. However, seeing linear a second time, I had doubts about my guess. The skill was perfect, but the battle pace was dangerous. For sure, step defense, which uses the smallest movement, has a higher counterattack speed over parry or block, and weapon armor durability will not decrease. In exchange, when the defense fails, their risk is greatest. At worst, counter damage is applied and a stun could occur. In solo battles, a stun is fatal. The perfect sword skill and the dangerous defense tactics were unbalanced. For some reason, I wanted to know why, no matter what. That's why I moved closer and inquired, asking if the repeated use of the tactic was overkill. However, the opponent did not seem to understand the extremely popular net game phrase. That means the rapier user in front of me was not an original beta tester. Not only that, they might not even have been an MMO player before coming here. I took a short breath and explained a new overkill means, compared to the monster's remaining HP. Their damage done was way too much. The kobold earlier was almost dead after the second linear. No, it was practically dead already. Its HP gauge had only 2 or 3 dots remaining. Instead of finishing it with a sword skill, a light normal attack would have been more than enough. In this world, how many days had it been since I talked so much? How many weeks? While thinking that, I stopped talking. After listening to my speech, the fruit of my hard work and my poor speaking skills, the rapier user had no reaction for over 10 seconds. Just when I thought I did not manage to get through, a small voice finally slipped through the lowered hood. Overkill, is there any problem with it? At that moment, I belatedly realized this rapier user huddled in front of me, deep in this dungeon, was one of this world's extraordinarily rare female players.